that's the law that sets up the PURC. We had a major tariff in 2022 September, which was supposed to run for 3 years, and it ended in September 2025. So we had to set a new major tariff. In between that, we'll have what we call the minor tariff reviews, which will be done on a basis just to maintain the real value of the tariff that we set. Now, this tariff is supposed to take effect from the 1st of January 2026 through to 2030, a 5-year tariff control period. And within this tariff control period, minor adjustments will be made on a quarterly basis, as I said earlier on, just to make sure that we take care of uncontrollable factors that the service provider does not have control over, and that the regulator does not equally have control over those factors. And those factors basically are the exchange rate between the US dollar and Ghana cedi, the inflation rate, the fuel cost that we have, basically natural gas. So those ones we have to make adjustment for because they don't have control over them, and we also don't have control over them. So as much as those costs dip, then we'll see a positive impact on the tariff in the coming years as well.
Doc, would this be different, or is it different from the quarterly review that we see? Is it different from that one?
Yeah, so that is exactly what I just said, that the quarterly review is what we call the minor tariff. So we actually adjust the tariffs on a quarterly basis. That's a minor review. But the major review is what we are taking now.
Okay.
So the major review is the reference point. Now, to keep this major tariff out of 2025, which will start from 2026, to keep the real value of that tariff, we make sure that we take into consideration minor adjustments on a quarterly basis. Those minor adjustments are adjustments which the service provider does not have control over.
Doc, what could be the
review?
I'm asking that what could be the variables pushing for this review that you issue in the statement?
Okay, so this review right now, that's what I was saying to. This review actually took into consideration capital expenses as well as operational expenses. These are the investments that they have to make to keep the system running in terms of reliability of supply, in terms of voltages to make sure that we have a quality of supply to homes, the substations that they have to put in place, meters that have to be deployed, the payment platforms, electronic payment platforms that have to be paid for. All of those things, there are service centers that they have to build, their vehicles, operational vehicles. All those ones are the capital expenses that we take into consideration when we are doing a major tariff. Now, the Commission did not come up with all the investments at a go. If you remember, ECG tabled a proposal of 225% increment, okay? But the Commission had to stagger the investments that they set to us. So we do have critical investments, medium or short-term investment, medium-term investment, and long-term investment. So we stagger the investments along the line. If the Commission were to take all the investments up front, the tariffs would have been much higher than this. So the tariffs are based on the staggering of the investments that we have in place.
Doc, how do you react to people who say that, and I've heard people say that this tariff increments, have come out because of the inefficiencies within the ECG. And so instead of the ECG, for instance, which is supposed to ensure revenue collection, then they are unable to do that. You justify that shortfall with an increase in revenue so you can show up their books. How do you react to people who make these accusations against your outfit?
Unfortunately, unfounded. Unfounded in the sense that the Commission does have benchmarks that it holds the service providers to. If you take of the losses, for instance, there's a benchmark for ECG of 21.4% that the PURC gives to them. Technical losses of 10%, losses of 11.4%. Technical losses of 10%, as we speak now, ECG is doing below 10%. They are doing 9.8%, and they aim at driving it down to 7.9%. So that is the target over the period. If we take the commercial losses, that is the bane of ECG. Now, commercial losses, if you put everything together, technical and commercial, for ECG, they are running in the region of 27%. It used to be around 30%, but they managed to reduce it to about 27%. The target that the Commission set is 21.4%. Anything beyond 21.4% is not passed through the tariff. Anything below 21.4%, which the Commission has set, is what is passed through the tariff. If we take PITCO, for instance, the loss level that they give to PITCO, the commission gives to CRICO is 4.1%. That means that you can lose 4%. With electricity, it's heat. And once you are transporting heat over a long period, over long ranges, you definitely lose some. You cannot get 100% if you move from Akosombo and you are transporting power to Accra. By the time it gets to Accra, it will still not be the 100%. You surely will lose some along the way. So there are benchmarks that the commission holds the service providers to. So I would just say that those accusations are woefully, they are unfounded. They are not grounded in anything.
Doc, I've just received a text message from a listener in Damango, and this is the question. It says, I mean, the PURC always uses, inflation and other economic indicators as reason for pushing up inflation. But this time around, inflation is down, the CD to dollar relationship is stable, and the cost of natural gas and the rest are all stable because of the dollar to the CD relation. So what would be the justification for this increment?
Okay, I just said that in the major tariff, we do have what we call capital expenses and operational expenses. What my good brother or friend from Damongo is asking is this, that their inflation is coming more stable. Yes, those are the factors which we consider during a minor review period. In a major tariff, we consider everything, capital expenses, in addition to the operational expenses. But in a minor tariff, we do not consider the capital expenses. We consider only operational expenses. So these are two different things. The major tariff sets the benchmark against which the minor tariffs will have to make sure that they revolve around the benchmark, just to make sure we keep the tariff, the real value of the tariff stable over the tariff control period. So these are two separate things.
Doc, thank you for your time. Dr. Eric Obutey is the Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, speaking to us there. A few of your WhatsApp messages.